Let me start by thanking each of you for being with us here today. We wanted to give you another in a continuing series of updates on the ongoing investigation relative to the plane crash that occurred on Cottman Avenue here in Northeast Philadelphia on Friday night. Let me start by saying that I want to welcome here today U.S. Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy to Northeast Philadelphia. Mr. Secretary, we know the demands that's on the time. Our nation has faced a great number of challenges that connect to our Department of Transportation, and we want you to know that we are grateful and we appreciate your presence here today. And we appreciate your being able to feel in real time the magnitude and impact this has had on our great city of Philadelphia. To our governor, Governor Shapiro, I want to say thank you, Governor. You've been here, you've been with us and on the ground every step of the way, and we appreciate your support. As we get started, I want to give us just a little context. On yesterday, Fire Commissioner Thompson and I had the opportunity to visit some of those who have been impacted by this tragedy at our area hospitals. Philadelphia, seeing them along with their families, we are reminded that there is in no way, shape, or form anything that we could have done to prepare for what I've described as the worst black swan event that the city of Philadelphia has encountered in I don't know how many years. But even in the midst of that tragedy, I want you to know that our resilience and our strength, it remains strong. Working together collaboratively with our federal partners, state and local partners, we know Philadelphia will recover from this tragedy. We're here in the Northeast where the people are Northeast strong. Yep. We will continue to look after each other the way Philadelphians do with our One Philly philosophy as our foundation. Let me, in a very detailed way, affirm for the city that this remains an ongoing investigation, and it is fluid and it is active. Our Philadelphia Police Department, Fire Department, Office of Emergency Management, first responders, again, federal, state, and local partners are all working around the clock to ensure that we get all of the information that we need to address this issue. I want to again give a special thanks, and Mr. Secretary, I know I said this to you when we first connected, that the NTSB, the National Transportation Safety Board, Chair Jennifer Holmandy, her amazing team. We were trying to figure out how we could keep Ralph here in the city of Philadelphia. I mean, he has done just an amazing job when they were sifting through all of the evidence and the data to find out what ultimately caused this terrible incident, and to the announcement where Philadelphians breathed a sigh of relief that the black box had been discovered. So we were really happy about that, and we want to thank you. We have been very careful, and I want to affirm this, the numbers of those who have been impacted and the fatalities, because we're working in direct correlation with our forensics department and all of our research and investigatory partners. We want to affirm the numbers, and that is that 6 people, yes, were on board the plane. However, the 7th person who was in a nearby car, they also perished. We learned today that the number of people who have been treated so far with injuries that they suffered as a result of the crash has been increased from 22 to 24. 4 of those people remain hospitalized. 2 are now stable, and 2 remain in critical condition. We will continue to keep them, their loved ones, and families in our prayers, and we stand with them. We also want to reinforce our ask that you follow the work of the NTSB on Twitter for subsequent updates from our federal colleagues as we're collaborating with them closely. Public education, no new updates. Philadelphia schools are open and no charter schools have been impacted by the incident. Mr. Secretary and Governor, I think we've heard this from across the board, but I can tell you that although we've been talking about local, state, and federal partners, and we all have very specific assignments and areas of expertise, there have been no silos. We have all understood the assignment, especially when I think about our first responders and the technicians and engineers who are on the ground and the investigators, but they have worked in a collaborative spirit. And for the record, I again want to affirm NTSB, Ralph Hicks, thank you, to the FAA. You have been amazing. The office of our governor, Josh Shapiro, our Pennsylvania State Police, Pennsylvania Emergency Management, Department of Environmental Protection, of course, our Philadelphia Police and Fire, Office of Emergency Management, our Managing Director's Office, the American Red Cross of Southeastern Pennsylvania, School District of Philadelphia, many other agencies and officials. We are all grateful for your support. We have to now mention for the record that intergovernmental cooperation also extends to our elected representatives. And I shared with both the governor and the secretary that our U.S. senators, Fetterman and McCormick, have been in constant communication with the city throughout this process, as well as Congress members Evans, Boyle, and Scanlon, all of our state legislators, and it's important to affirm this, Reps Doherty, Nielsen, Solomon, Bellman, every rep, State Senator Picozzi, who represents this area, my former double colleague, Driscoll, thank you so very much for being here, Commissioner Dealey, the Mexican consulate, everyone standing up together in this crisis, one Philly Northeast strong. Finally, where do you turn to for help? Shelter. There's a shelter at the Samuel Fells High School located at 5500 Langdon Street here in Northeast Philadelphia. It is being operated by our Office of Emergency Management and the American Red Cross, Southeastern Pennsylvania, with the School District of Philadelphia. It is operating 24/7. You only need to call 1-800-RED Cross for help. I also want to affirm that we have now confirmed the location for our town hall meeting. It will be held on Wednesday, this Wednesday, February 5th, at the Solace Cohen Elementary School, 7001 Horrock Street at 7 p.m. This becomes extremely important because so much information regarding mental and behavioral health supports, we want to make sure we communicate to the public and any other questions or concerns that you may have. If you need mental and behavioral health supports, we want you to call the hotline at 988 or visit them at www.dbhids.org. The City of Philadelphia is here to help you. If you know of anyone who has been displaced or impacted by the tragedy, we want you to tell them that they can get help. However, we don't want anyone, because right now, as you can imagine, Mr. Secretary and Governor, a lot of people are watching us. A lot of people are saying, what can we do to help during this time? We still do not want you to bring any sort of donations and or supports to this site, nor do we want you formally making a contribution because nothing has been structured as of yet that involves our government. We're working with many partners in order to stand that up, and as soon as we have found and established a vehicle, we will communicate that with you. But we are developing a way for people to contribute to the victims of this disaster. Roosevelt Boulevard is now reopened. If you want to get updates, visit Ready PHL to get updates from our Office of Emergency Management. I now want to just affirm, and I want to say A special thanks to our federal partners, NTSB, the Secretary of Transportation, the FBI, and the ATF. As well as all of our state and local partners, and to our tremendous police and fire departments, and first responders. Thank you all. Mr. Secretary, I want to turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. It is nice of the welcome you've given me here in Philadelphia. I want to take a quick moment and extend my condolences to those who lost their lives in this tragedy here in Philadelphia. Not only those who lost their lives, but many lives in Philadelphia have been impacted. As you look at the crash zone, people in the hospital, we look at people removed from their homes, businesses that have been shut down. There has been a substantial impact that's taken place here in your city. And I just want to take a moment and this is the first time I had a chance to meet your mayor, but I saw what she was doing through this crisis, and the kind of leadership that she has offered Philadelphia has been remarkable. The work that she put in to build a team that could respond to this crisis the way they did, of police and fire and first responders, they don't know what hit them. And they responded quickly to the scene and did a fantastic job, as well as leadership from your governor. He has been remarkable, Governor Shapiro, in constant contact with the Department of Transportation, with the senators, and again, wonderful leadership that's been brought to Philadelphia to make this crisis just a little bit less painful. I know that President Trump sends his condolences to the community and is offering resources and support as this recovery continues and investigation continues. I've been in contact with Senator Fetterman and his office, as well as Senator McCormick. Both of them have been wonderful partners as we deal with this crisis from the federal side. If I could also just take a moment, if you watch the news, the NTSB and the FAA have had a number of different issues they've been dealing with. And they were here at this crash site in less than an hour and a half. They responded immediately to make sure our investigators could be on site, on scene, and begin to look at the details around what happened so we can get answers to make sure this doesn't happen again. And so I want to say thank you to the FAA and to the NTSB. As many of you have reported, the black box was recovered. That was a voice recorder box. We don't have a data recorder on this aircraft, but there is an enhanced ground proximity warning system. Information can come off that device, whether it's the speed or location of the aircraft. We will be able to get some data, hopefully, off that device. But the FAA and the NTSB, they're going to look at weather. Was there medical concerns? Was there technical or mechanical issues on the airplane? All factors that, even though this crash was so devastating, there are remains, whether it's the engines, the wings, that they can look at and get answers to what took place here. We hope to get their preliminary report within 30 days, and we have committed to being as transparent as possible with the information as it comes out. And in these crises, Mayor and Governor, I know that sometimes people forget because the news cycle moves so fast. Yes. We will not forget. We're going to stand in partnership with your community and this wonderful team that you all have built, who I've had a chance to meet, and they are just, they are remarkable Americans, and it was a pleasure to meet them. And again, if you want an example how to respond to crises, look to what happened here and to the team that you all have built, because you all did it right. Governor, Mayor, so thank you for your example that you've shown the country and your community.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you. I'll be brief. You know, in life, there's a thin line between tragedy and triumph, between danger and safety. That line you can quite literally witness on Cottman Avenue. Millisecond difference could have claimed many more lives in our community. Thank God it didn't. You can also see in life a line between cooperation and between those who run separately and apart. Here in Philadelphia, in Northeast Philly, over the last several days, we've witnessed that line. we've also witnessed the very best of our community and our government working together. I was struck by one of the images on Friday night as I was here in the pouring rain together with the mayor and on the phone with the secretary, of a person donning his Kelly green hoodie, symbolizing the triumph and ultimately the ultimate triumph on Sunday of the Philadelphia Eagles. But this was a guy who was also dealing with tragedy, and in that hoodie running to save others, to keep them safe. I witnessed it when Philly Fire didn't hesitate for a second, but ran toward danger, not knowing what they were dealing with, but putting out that fire and no doubt saving other lives. Police coming together to support us and make sure we are safe. That thin line kept us safe. And I am grateful to our first responders and law enforcement for doing their part to save lives. I'm grateful to our neighbors here in Northeast Philly for doing their part to save lives. And I'm especially grateful to Mayor Parker for her extraordinary leadership here in the city of Philadelphia, and all of those who flank behind her to do this important work. You've seen the mayor and I standing up before you, and she's done an outstanding job of sharing relevant information that you needed to be able to keep you and your family safe. Perhaps what you didn't see, though, is the team the mayor assembled behind you. Quite literally, the folks right now who are going through DNA, the folks who are excavating ground so that they could get that black box out and get answers, the folks who are out cleaning up our community so people can get back up on their feet. All of these folks work with the mayor, work with the city of Philadelphia, and make us proud. And I wish the people of Philadelphia could see the extraordinary work they do. They would be proud of these public servants. As for the Commonwealth, we've done our best to support the mayor and her administration through the Pennsylvania State Police, led by Colonel Christopher Paris, who is with us, PEMA, led by Director Randy Padfield, who's with us, PennDOT, who's done great work to help make sure our roads have the resources that they need. And I just want you to know, Madam Mayor, the Commonwealth stands with you, not just today, but every day as we go forward. And finally, as I alluded to a moment ago, Secretary Duffy, I think you've been on the job about a week or so, God bless you, got on the phone with me immediately to say, what do you need? Here's what we are sending. We are in this with you. Probably had one phone in his ear dealing with the tragedy in Washington, D.C., and the other in his other ear helping us here in Philly. It says a lot about him, and it says a lot about the people that are behind him as well at the U.S. Department of Transportation to make sure that we have what we need here in this city of Philadelphia. I know oftentimes folks like to find division in ranks, division in our politics. There's no division here. Everybody rowing in the same direction. Everybody working together. Everybody making sure that that thin line between danger and safety is understood, and we prioritize the safety and welfare of the people of Philadelphia and the citizens of this great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Madam Mayor, thank you for your leadership. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Just want to also acknowledge the presence of one of our council members, Jimmy Harity. Yes, ma'am?
Yeah, Mr. Secretary, question for you. I wonder what struck you surveying the crater, and then second,
Excuse me.
the black box?
So in regard to the strike zone, it was how expansive it was, and the issues that fire and police were dealing with. Again, this is a very populated area. Controlling, the people in the area, making sure they're safe in this process, as well as trying to put the fires out in the community, in the homes around the crash site. But again, if you look at the impact and how deep that crater is, it was a very steep angle at which that aircraft came down. You asked the second part of that question? The black box was on its way to D.C. today. Since I've been talking to the governor and the mayor, I don't have an update on the condition of the black box, but hopefully we're able to extract the evidence off the black box.
Sean, 1 second, Sean.
Mayor, for the businesses affected and the homes that were damaged, are there city resources or other government resources available?
Thank you, Sean, for asking that very important question. While the immediate response was the public safety and health of those who were immediately impacted, we know that there will be both short, medium, and a long-term impact on Philadelphia. And while we're dealing with the physical health and social and emotional impact, we really do have to quantify the economic impact. And for that, that's why I'm grateful to have Secretary Duffy here along with Governor Shapiro. We immediately had those conversations, and it will require that intergovernmental collaboration, no silos, with our City of Philadelphia finance budget being able to connect with the agencies that we discussed earlier, Mr. Secretary and Governor. So appropriate, and we're working on getting that done immediately. Thank you for that question.
Mayor, is there anybody on account?
I have a quick question as far as the black box. What is obviously, is there a way, if that black box is damaged beyond repair, is there a way to get track data from that? Does anybody answer that?
Well, I don't want to answer for them, but I do want to share what they've communicated to us. It goes back to the NTSB headquarters. They have the best technical experts available, and we allow them to do that work. And just like they found it and they publicly affirmed to us when they acquired it, they'll give us an update. But one of the things, I'll be very honest, as mayor of the city of Philadelphia, I've watched it in the past. I'm very sensitive to putting a time line and/or affirming what can or cannot be done. It's just been transported to them. Let's give those experts an opportunity to do their job, and let's let them report back to us. Deanna, yes.
You talked on Saturday about missing people,
Yes.
calling 911. Do you have a list so far how many are missing? And we've heard the governor now talk about DNA. Can we assume through the delicate way you're speaking it that we have remains out there that you need to still?
Deanna, you were ultra sensitive and perceptive when you asked that question earlier, and the same on today. That is why we have been so exact in affirming what we have confirmed, but not being absolute. As much as we want to say, this is the exact number of people who have been impacted and treated, or these are the absolute number of lives that have been lost. We're going to allow our experts, our partners at the local, state, and federal levels to continue to do their work. And as soon as we get more information, we will communicate it to you. But I do want to say this, because in real time yesterday, I visited two people and their families who were impacted. And they know that we're praying for them, and they were very grateful to it. But I also want you to know, I stopped at one of our hospitals in particular and had a chance to go into the emergency room and talk to all of the emergency medical professionals who were there to say thank you to them, because they are frontliners, and we were very grateful for their support. Thank you. Annie?
Are you able to confirm for us in the vehicle where there was one fatality, the other people that are injured in the hospital, were they also in that vehicle, and are they part of the same family?
Yes.
So are there two people that are injured in the vehicle in addition to the fatality in that vehicle, and they're all family?
Yes. Thank you. One more question. I'm sorry.
It's my understanding that
Yes.
you've been, in a briefing that you had prior to all this, you've seen far more specific video now of the impact, the point of the impact from possibly the Dunkin' Donuts. Could you speak to that in a little bit way and tell the public about what it is you witnessed there and what happened?
You heard the governor and I the other day, I think it was Friday or either Saturday, the days are running together now. I affirmed that I'm a praying mayor, and he affirmed how strongly he stood on his faith. When you look through the footage and you think about what could have been, had a gas line been hit, I'm going to stand strong on my faith. I'm grateful to God. I am also thinking about everything that we need to do that you can't quantify by numbers. The social and emotional repair. That's why you constantly keep hearing me refer to the importance of us acknowledging trauma and the impacts that a tragedy like this can have on the city. Jeff, we're working on it, and we're working on making sure that we use every level of government. I know every time I say that word, people say, Mr. Secretary, intergovernmental collaboration. I mean, it sounds like, what's that thing? Is that important? Let me say this, Philadelphia. We can't get through this moment without working with our federal partners in Washington, along with our state legislators and our governor here. We all have to do it together. So I was fortunate in thinking about Philadelphia, and that we don't let politics get in the middle of us getting our work done here. So, no emotions, no pride, no ego here. These were professionals who got together, and they are doing that job, and I am so grateful. Thank you all so much. If you have any further questions, see Joe Grace, and we'll do our best to answer them for you.
Mayor,